Because she sucks! Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. You were there when I destroyed Diane Nguyen.
I'm so tired of squinting.
You saw me absolutely obliterate John Redcorn.
I want my son back.
Now join me as I once again get irrationally angry at yet another fictional character. But this time, she's a teenage girl. Sam Manson from Danny Phantom. Boy, has this video been a long time coming. Yeah, in case you're new here and habitually click on videos without reading their titles, I'm not a big fan of this character. In fact, for over a decade now, I've been telling people that Sam Manson is my second most hated fictional character of all time. Who's the first?
There's $5,000 here. I could pay Frank back tonight.
Originally, I was going to take the same route with Sam that I did with John Redcorn and review an episode of Danny Phantom that more or less demonstrates all the reasons I absolutely loathe this character. But I eventually decided against that, mainly because there isn't really an episode that properly presents everything I'd like. While I can certainly pick out one that has a lot of unlikable Sam moments, getting my point across is going to take more work than that, and I'm nothing if not a hard worker. Wait, the opposite of that is true. So strap in, intellectuals, because we got a long discussion to have about exactly why I despise Sam Manson, which you all care about for some reason. Samantha Manson, along with Tucker Foley, is the best friend and sidekick of Danny Fenton, aka Danny Phantom, though for some reason in season 3 they don't like being called sidekicks.
I thought we needed a cool name since we're kind of Danny's sidekicks.
We're not really sidekicks.
Yes, you are. Danny is a superhero and you two assist him in his adventures, rarely ever fighting ghosts on your own. That's a sidekick. It's a little ambiguous how long Sam has known Tucker and Danny. She's definitely been around Tucker for years.
In 2nd grade, Tucker threw up in your lunchbox, but he told you Ricky Marsh did it.
What? I kicked him off the monkey bars for that! It was you?
But it's shown in the episode Memory Blank that she met Tucker through Danny, and it's implied in multiple episodes that she only just started hanging out with both boys relatively recently.
Has he always been moody and glum in December?
A big whiny Scrooge, long as I can remember.
Daughter of Jeremy and Pamela, Sam is the youngest heir to the Manson fortune. Her family is obscenely rich thanks to an invention of their ancestor, though they're far from the richest people in the show. Because of that, they live a prim and proper lifestyle, one that Sam rejects in favor of being a goth, or at least what many thought goths were like in the 2000s, which was actually a subculture of traditional goth and punk. This lifestyle choice is sometimes encouraged by her grandmother Ida.
What's it short for? Ida preferred a different name?
As an activist, Sam believes in taking a stand for what's right. This partially explains her dedication to helping Danny. She feels she can't sit on the sideline and has to be involved in making things better. Danny's lifestyle as a superhero helps her achieve that goal.
I'll always be your friend, Danny, and I'll always be there for you, but I can't live life just sitting on the sidelines.
Sam's hobbies include video games, poetry, gardening, geeky movies of certain genres, and certain types of historic literature that mesh with the goth stereotype. She's an ultra-recyclo vegetarian, which is just a fancy way of saying she never eats anything with a face on it. For a while, I didn't know if this meant Sam was just a standard vegetarian or if she was full-on vegan, but after rewatching the show in its entirety, I found this moment.
It is my honor to assist the Great One and his servants.
Servants?
Silence! Oh, Sam of the very vegan.
I think that's good enough confirmation. So yeah, Sam is a vegan, which should be a surprise to no one given her personality. And lastly, Sam has a massive crush on Danny, which she's afraid to admit to herself throughout most of the show, but season 3 takes steps to push the two closer together until they eventually become a couple in the finale. The wiki actually lists her as Danny's future wife. I don't know if that's wish fulfillment or canon. People have told me that the story does continue outside of the show. Okay, where's the best place to start analyzing this girl?
It's always best to start at the beginning.
Hush, Glinda. I'm thinking. I've got it. Let's take a look at the beginning. That's always a good place to start. The first episodes of Danny Phantom, you know, the ones meant to introduce you to the characters, are a mystery meet, parental bonding, and one of a kind. And Sam is awful in all 3.
What is this? Grass on a bun?
What have you done?
Tucker, it's time for a change.
I'm going on a date with a dragon?
Like I said, looks are deceiving. I'm sure you boys will have a wonderful evening. You want out?
Normally when I talk about a character I don't like, I prefer to start with minor things that tick me off and build up to the aspect they have that annoys me the most. With Sam, that's pretty much impossible because she starts off presenting one of, if not her most annoying trait. This is her first line in the entire show.
Sorry, Mr. Fenton. I was into ghosts, but they're so mainstream now. They're like cell phones.
Yep, Sam is a contrarian, or as we used to call them back when I still understood slang, a hipster. Well, hipster can mean a couple different things, so let's stick with contrarian. Sam makes it very clear in the first episode that she likes things that are different because they are different, and she rejects things that are the norm. I can understand wanting to avoid being a conformist, but being a contrarian brings the same problems. You're just playing for a different team. Come on, Shady, that's just one episode and an early one at that. Lots of characters change and evolve as shows progress. Ah, okay, fair point. Let's skip forward to the end of the series and see how Sam behaves there.
I don't have my ghost powers anymore! I'm normal again! Don't you realize what this means?
Yeah, that you're just an average, everyday, not special human again.
Now we can all just be normal teenagers and hang out as much as we want.
Yeah, normal rocks. Your powers gave you a chance to change things, a chance that no one else had. But now you're just one of the crowd again.
Judging her friend based on how different he is from everyone else. What lovely character progression we have here. Don't get me wrong, Danny absolutely deserved to be criticized for getting rid of his powers in Phantom Planet. He made a rash, emotional decision in the heat of the moment without thinking about the potential consequences. But Sam's guilt trip of how dare you want to be normal is just downright unempathetic.
You're not you anymore. You're just a normal kid, and a selfish one at that.
How am I selfish? Because I don't want to endanger the people I care about the most?
Seriously, once you understand that Sam is motivated by embracing what isn't considered the norm and rejecting everything else, a lot of her decisions fall into place. Why is she goth? Because goth was the counterculture of the 2000s. Why does she hang out with Danny and Tucker despite having almost nothing in common with them and is actively annoyed by their antics? Because these two are outcasts whom the popular crowd has rejected. Why does she hate beauty pageants? Because everyone involved loves conventionalism, and so on and so forth. Now, I don't know about you intellectuals, but for me, a contrarian mentality is one of the most annoying traits anyone can have. So knowing that a lot of Sam's personality is motivated by that mindset makes it very difficult for me to ever see her in a positive light. Also, I know some people are probably going to accuse me of judging Sam by my adult standards, which isn't fair since she's just a teenager, but trust me when I tell you that I've always felt this way, even when this show first came out and I was around Sam's age. Look, there's nothing wrong with being different, and there's certainly nothing wrong with liking being different. I'm actually very guilty of that. I just have issues with rejecting and accepting something on arbitrary bases that don't include its merit or integrity. I also just hate how media will so easily say being different is okay, but has trouble saying the same thing about being similar to others. If you're being yourself, you're happy, and you're not hurting anyone, why is it bad that you also share traits with the majority? Seriously, guys, it's okay to be wild. Funny thing about Sam is that while her first line in the show gives you an insight to her mentality, her second line explains why she has it in the first place.
I think I should tell them.
Why? Parents don't listen. Even worse, they don't understand. Why can't they accept me for who I am?
Sam has entered the typical teenage scenario of gaining an identity that her parents don't approve of. It's practically to a cliche degree. She could be the poster child for "it's not a phase, mom." And like all "it's not a phase, mom" kids, or really most people, Sam doesn't like it when people don't allow her to be herself and follow her own life choices.
Just watch what you say around them. They already think I'm on the road to troubled teenhood.
Which, you know, is an understandable frustration. If you feel you've got a good head on your shoulders, why should anyone else tell you how to live your life? It's just too bad Sam doesn't feel the same way about other people.
And my all-meat streak is 14 years strong.
And it's about to end. The school board finally agreed to try a new cafeteria menu. I wore them down.
Yeah, despite not liking when people force their lifestyle onto her, Sam is perfectly fine forcing her lifestyle onto others. We are 3 for 3 with hypocrisy being a main reason I dislike a character. Do I hear 4? But let's be clear here, the menu change was only supposed to last a week, so really Sam was just getting the school to try something different. However, that doesn't excuse her from hypocrisy.
Sammykins! At least try it on!
And what makes it worse is when the ghost lunch lady shows up and specifically says she's wreaking havoc because Sam changed the menu, this happens.
The only reason this happened is because you had to be unique. You had to take the meat away, and I'm gonna get it back.
You want to change that menu back? You're gonna have to go through me to do it!
Sam, there is a ghost attacking your school because you changed the menu. Changing it back would most likely make the ghost leave. You should want that. Also, the episode makes it clear that a lot of kids hate the new menu. Why, Sam, are you trying to force change that is being negatively received and is actively putting lives in danger? Now, to be fair, Sam is an animal rights activist. It's possible she changed the menu specifically because she believes eating meat is a form of cruelty and murder. And when someone's performing cruelty and murder, you'll feel a lot more justified forcing other people to comply with your way of thinking. There are two problems with that, however. One, Sam specifically says she does her diet to be different.
Danny, your powers make you unique. Unique is good. That's why I'm an ultra-recyclo-vegetarian.
And two, of course, this is not the only example of Sam forcing her view onto others. In enters the episode Beauty Marked. Spoilers, I hate this episode. It's a contender for my least favorite episode of the show and would have been the episode I reviewed had I stuck with my original Sam rant idea. In this episode, Sam joins a beauty pageant with the explicit intent of sabotaging it.
Sam?
Yes, Sam. I signed up for the stupid pageant. I'm not doing this to win. I'm doing it to make a statement.
And she proceeds to do so, disobeying the trainer at every turn and making things worse for all the other girls involved. But Shady, that beauty pageant was a trap. If Sam hadn't joined, one of the other girls would have become a ghost prisoner.
Dora is a ghost.
So that's your big statement? Dora's a ghost? I mean, what? Wait, Dora's a ghost?
First of all, while it is possible, it's not definitive that Danny wouldn't have eventually figured out Dora was a ghost after a winner was chosen. And if he had, he would have rescued whatever girl got captured. Second, Sam didn't know that when she joined the pageant. Trap or not, she would have sabotaged it regardless.
I don't know what to say. Oh wait, yes I do. These things are stupid.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to defend beauty pageants, I don't know anything about them, and I don't have a problem with protests. There are stupid rituals that society does all the time, and I encourage people to speak out against ones they feel should be shut down or changed. However, if everyone involved is happy to be there and mature enough to make the decision, who are you to try to ruin that experience for them? All the girls in the pageant, as well as Danny, knew it was a superficial ceremony and all chose to participate anyway. Sabotaging the event doesn't accomplish anything except inflate Sam's ego because the message trying to be sent is already well known. Also, someone sneaking their way into a culture and trying to change it from the inside because they find it problematic when everyone who actively participates doesn't have a problem with it. Now, where have I heard that before? Before we continue, I should note that there are lots of other scattered moments throughout the show that add to my reasons for disliking Sam. She transed her baby, what? But it's really not worth diving into the details of every single one. That being said, I do feel obligated to talk about the infamous moment from One of a Kind.
Boys hugging makes every yearbook funny.
This is often touted as one of Sam's most heinous acts, and you might not believe this, but I actually disagree with the angry mob on this one, and will for once in my life defend Sam. While this act is a little mean, it's ultimately a prank among friends, and when it comes to pranks, how far is too far is going to vary from person to person, as well as from relationship to relationship. Since Danny and Tucker showed that they were willing to humiliate Sam in a similar way,
Wait till we tell everybody at school you let out a 400-pound gorilla.
Or we just keep it our little secret.
I doubt the photo would be considered going too far for them in this friendship. Sam is definitely still annoying in this episode, but the photo thing specifically isn't something I hold against her. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, Shady, all these might be a bit annoying, which is already debatable, but aren't you blowing things out of proportion? You said in your Christmas video that you hated Sam more than John Redcorn, but I'm not seeing anything that makes her a worse person than him. I wasn't thinking that. Well, that might be because disliking a character more than another doesn't necessarily mean you think they're a worse person. As I've said in other videos, how one feels about a character is going to greatly depend on the individual. I don't like that John Redcorn is a hypocritical affair-having scumbag, but I don't really have to deal with people like him regularly. But hypocritical, busybodying, activist contrarians who usurp their way into others' hobbies? Yeah, I've been dealing with their type for quite some time, so I'm a little more sensitive to characters like Sam. The other thing is, at least King of the Hill knows John Redcorn is doing bad deeds and will often treat him like he is, even sometimes going as far as to punish him. Danny Phantom as a show seems completely ignorant of all of Sam's worst qualities and only focuses on what it sees as her positive ones. There are 3 episodes where Sam's actions are criticized to such a degree that she's supposed to regret them and learn a lesson. First is Girls Night Out, another contender for my least favorite episode of the show, where Sam spends a good amount of time underappreciating Jazz.
You just can't accept that I'm part of your ghost fighting team, can you?
Who said you're a part of our team? And I have a plan.
So do I.
Jazz, trust me, mine will actually work.
But for some strange reason, Sam never apologizes and the episode ends as if both girls were the problem.
Not nearly as cool as when you... Oh, Mom, we're getting ice cream. So anyway.
Yeah, it was so awesome.
Ice cream? Together? They're actually getting along?
The crap is this? How did this turn into a lesson for both of them? It was only Sam who needed to change. Jazz was perfectly happy working with Sam and believed she had value from the beginning.
We've got to figure out how to get them back before they're gone forever. No thinking, Sam. Action.
Mom, no. Sam's right.
The second is in King Tuck, where both Sam and Danny have trouble listening to Tucker, a personality trait completely made up for this specific episode. So it's not so much of a critique of Sam specifically. Also, while she does say she'll change, again, she never actually apologizes. Danny does, though.
It might listen to you.
Somebody should have.
I know. And I'm sorry.
And lastly, there's parental bonding, where Sam is upset that Danny only cares about looks, so she herself decides to judge someone based solely on their looks.
Paulina, girls like her are a dime a dozen. Kudos, Danny. You just set an all-time speed record for drowning in the shallow end of the gene pool.
Oh no, you did not just call me shallow, did you?
Oh look, more hypocrisy. This time with an added dash of deflection, since Sam is frustrated about not being invited to a dance, but is directing her annoyance at someone else. But to her credit, Sam was trying to defend Danny, who just embarrassed himself. Also, she actually admits fault here.
He's my best friend. Maybe that's why I was so hard on you. I didn't mean to call you shallow.
Still technically not an apology, but the sentiment is there. She's in character, regrets her behavior, and she's learned a lesson. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe the writers do recognize that Sam is flawed.
What a bummer. I only agreed to go out with him because I thought I was stealing him from you. I'm going back inside to dump your dorky friend.
Okay, so the one time Sam is meant to learn a lesson in a way that's in character, and it turns out she doesn't have to. She was right to judge Paulina by her appearance, the thing she was trying to teach Danny not to do. This is the big problem here. Yes, Sam has traits that can get under people's skin, but the annoying parts of those traits are magnified when you realize that she is not expected to change or grow. And you know, even that wouldn't be so bad if the show wasn't so heavily critical of all its other characters. Danny is constantly expected to be a better person. You can't go 3 episodes without him learning some lesson about appreciating people, or not abusing his powers, or some other Saturday morning routine.
I didn't know this is the job you were talking about.
That's because he never bothered to get to know me.
Yeah, you're right. I wanted to say I was sorry. I'm sort of thinking that just because I can do something doesn't mean I should. You might want to listen to some of those ideas. I know I should have.
Apology accepted.
Tucker doesn't get as much scrutiny as Danny. He's rarely ever expected to change, but the show still constantly criticizes his actions, especially with what seems to be his main flaw, his inability to properly flirt.
Hi, would you?
Forget it.
No.
I didn't ask you yet.
Even Jazz, who is a side character, has multiple episodes where she is humbled and expected to change for the better.
Sometimes I do feel like the weight of the world is on my shoulders, but Danny's responsible. And he's a kid, which means it's probably safe for me to be a kid every now and then. But just because I can doesn't mean I should. Ghost fighting's your thing, Danny. I'll always be there for you, just in different ways.
And then we have Sam, the perfect little angel who is clearly not perfect. And get this, there are moments in episodes that are perfectly set up to have Sam go through an arc, but they just don't do it. The best example of this is the episode Control Freaks. Sam's parents are concerned about her being negatively influenced by her hobbies, so they forbid her from attending a new evil-looking event in town, Circus Gothica.
Parents of Amity Pond, we urge you to boycott this morbid assault on the morals of our children.
And it turns out that successfully judging a book by its cover runs in the family, because Circus Gothica was actually a front for a bunch of robberies led by an evil ringmaster. Now, the lesson here should have been that while Sam's parents do have their flaws, sometimes they know what they're talking about, and Sam should take their concerns for her into consideration. But that's not at all what happens. Sam just keeps the mentality that her parents are overly protective of her and are unnecessarily meddling in her life.
Plus, I'll never hear the end of it if my parents learn they're right about him being evil.
Sure, the episode acknowledges that Sam's parents were right.
How ironic is it that I'm stuck under house arrest while my parents go to a free Circus Gothica show?
only slightly less ironic than the fact that they were right about it being evil.
But Sam doesn't get anything out of the situation. It's treated less like a lesson she could learn from and more like an inconvenience she just happened to go through.
Dear Princess Celestia, I didn't learn anything.
And you have to wonder, why? Why does Sam get such special treatment? It can't be because she's a main character. Danny and Tucker don't get this treatment. And it's not because she's a girl, since the other girls in the show aren't treated this way either. Well, here's where we go into theory territory. Some believe Sam is a writer's pet, that Butch and his team cared too much about her and overly focused on her positive traits, thus not properly punishing her whenever the time came. Similar to how Katara is treated in Avatar or how Mabel is in Gravity Falls. While that is possible, and if you know anything proving such a claim, like an interview from Butch or something, I'd love to see it. My theory is that the opposite is true. I think Sam doesn't get as much criticism not because her character is favored, but because it's neglected. Sam as a character falls into two archetypes that were very popular in the 2000s. The first is the competent girl, half of a duo that is paired with an incompetent boy. Sam's role as the competent girl is to correct Danny, the incompetent boy. This is a bit of a branch off the long-standing straight man funny man comedy duo. I say it was popular in the 2000s, but I have no idea when it actually took off because you can find this trope freaking everywhere. This is why a common trope in shows is the respectable mom paired with the idiotic dad. Shoot, Danny Phantom does the trope twice, once with Sam and Danny and again with Jack and Maddie.
Who's a 9th degree black belt?
You are. You are? Here, I'll get the Ghost-Keteers.
And that's why we make a great team. Here's a cookie.
When you do this trope right, you get shows like Kim Possible where, despite one character being the more competent one, both are so important story-wise, it's to the point that Ron is the key to Kim's success.
See, traveling into your past, I realized one thing. As a team, you two are actually solid. Why? Don't know, don't care.
When you do the trope poorly, you get shows like
She told me she's been possessed by the ghost of Dr. Edna Purdue. It made so much sense when she told me. I accidentally dropped the gun and, well, yeah, here we are.
Yeah, that's low-hanging fruit. Everyone knows Velma sucks. When you do the trope poorly, you get shows like Miraculous, where the characters will say Ladybug and Cat Noir are both vital, but the show will constantly present Cat Noir kidnapped or hypnotized, while Ladybug comes in and does something like defeat multiple villains all by herself. The second trope Sam falls into is the not like other girls girl. Why, yes, I can hear you groaning through the screen. Usually this trope results in a tomboy, but lately it's mostly used for more adorkable purposes. The point of it is that the girl makes it a major part of her identity to not fall under the traditional feminine umbrella. And Sam absolutely qualifies.
One of us is going to have to dress up like a boy.
Oh, come on. This is because I wear boots, right?
When this trope is done right, you get very interesting and or fun characters like Spinelli, Daria, Laura, and Toph. When it's done poorly, you get...
Wait a second. As a guy, everyone thinks my worst qualities as a girl are awesome.
No, Velma is too easy of a target. When it's done poorly, you get characters like Maggie from the Buzz on Maggie, who is a selfish brat, but the writers think her charming because she's strange and she likes it. That's just the way she is. Side note, when I was writing the script for this video, I initially thought it was going to be easy to find bad examples of the not like other girls trope, since it's one I've seen get made fun of a lot, but I actually struggled quite a bit before I finally thought of Maggie. Meanwhile, I thought of a ton of examples of the trope being done well. If you guys know of any more examples of the trope being done poorly, please let me know in the comments because I'm very curious of the ones I missed. It should be noted that Sam also has a feminist aspect about her. I'm not sure I'm comfortable saying she falls into the trope of a feminist since A, this is a branch of her not like other girls trope, and B, it's a much more minor part of her character, but I think it's still at least worth mentioning. Sam has moments where she pushes for the equality or even superiority of women.
You're just as smart as your brother and just as powerful.
True.
I've got lots of cheat codes and secret power-ups in my arsenal. Of course, you guys must know all of those too, right? Weird. The girls do.
Do this trope correctly, and you get characters like Judy Hopps, who both advocates and demonstrates how someone can push past what society expects of them. Do it poorly.
Why don't the boys have to take a Don't Murder Girls class?
Because I only have $50 in the budget to combat centuries of toxic masculinity.
Fine, yes, you get Velma. Happy? Velma takes every stereotype it can think of and does them poorly. When you look at Sam with the understanding that she falls into these categories, it can start to make sense why the writing around her treats her so favorably. The competent girl, the not like other girls girl, and the feminist all individually have hurdles one has to overcome when challenging a character they're included in. When you have all three together in a single character, I imagine challenging said character would feel counterproductive. Criticizing her might come across as you saying she shouldn't be not like other girls, or that girls aren't equal to boys, or that the character whose job it is to be competent isn't actually competent. At that point, never challenging the character would feel like the natural thing to do. In fact, take it a step further and make her really good at a lot of stuff so she can play her roles better. Danny and Tucker need to learn a lesson about fitness. Not Sam though, she's the competent girl. She would already be fit. Ignore the fact that she has no hobbies related to exercise. We can't have Sam learn that her parents are sometimes right or that the pretty girls can be nice people too. That wouldn't make sense to the competent girl who is not like other girls. Sam is a feminist, so it's okay that she ruins a beauty pageant for everyone else. She's showing them how she's not like other girls. Even though Sam doesn't take school seriously and is known to skip class,
but it may be carved with a number 2 pencil.
Oh, please. I'm cutting first period to watch the opening ceremony at the train station.
She's the competent girl, so she's simultaneously those things and a smart person who greatly cares about failure.
What are you looking at? Ah! She tastes like geek!
Ah! It tastes like failure!
We need someone in this scene to know about ghost hunting laws. We're not going to choose any of the people from the family of ghost hunters. Nah, that would be stupid. Sam is the competent girl. She would obviously know.
But page 198, subchapter 7, paragraph 37B of the Anti-Ghost Code says you need a warrant.
Thanks for the backup, Sam. I'm glad you're up on your anti-ghost laws.
Video games are an activity that Danny and Tucker are shown to spend way too much time doing. So surely they would be better than Sam at nope! Sam is a feminist, competent, not like other girls girl. That stands to reason that she would absolutely destroy Tucker and Danny at video games, and it's sexist that they would think otherwise.
What's she doing here? She can't be here to play.
Oh, because I'm a girl?
Danny and Tucker don't even make a sexist comment. They just assume Sam, not girls, specifically Sam, doesn't play video games.
If you were game savvy, you'd know that.
Oh, really? Let me tell you something. Hold it.
You stay here, Sam. You probably don't know the moves that we're talking about here.
Yeah, you just get in the way.
They probably would have made the same comments to Dash or Quan or something.
I'm Ghost Boy. I'm Friar Tuck. We don't need your help because you're a girl.
Seriously, this one really ticked me off, and the examples go on and on and on. Combine these with the fact that the writers of the show have a compulsive need to criticize Danny, even when it's unnecessary, and I have to conclude that these people simply didn't care enough about Sam to give her what she needed. And instead, they let her character roles lead her through every episode, depriving the girl of any development or arcs. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. There is one arc Sam goes through, one thing that the show is constantly criticizing her about.
I guess Ember's spell hasn't quite worn off.
You were never under Ember's spell.
Sam and Danny are victims of the friends to lovers will they won't they trope. I say victims because I'm pretty sure more was lost from this than gained. I think what makes it fail so hard is that all the chemistry between Danny and Sam feels incredibly forced. Well, except for their dance. That was a legitimately good moment.
The DJ's still playing, and I think there's time for one last dance.
Sure, I'd love to.
Even with that moment though, these two don't have anything in common in terms of a relationship. Danny embraces pretty much all the things Sam despises. He likes being popular, he likes conventional things, he tries to fit in. And Sam makes it a habit to constantly criticize Danny because, you know, competent girl and incompetent boy.
That extra life will come in handy when Lancer kills you for flunking again. Well, it's not on the path. Frostbite said not to stray from the path.
No, just for a second or two.
Apparently someone's been busy.
It wasn't me, I swear!
Danny, you might want to end this before things spin out of control.
I will, as soon as Lancer declares me the winner. Playing hero takes way too much energy.
Danny, you're ticking me off. I thought there was something more to you. Something deeper.
Well, go ahead, get ticked off.
The show wants to present the two as Sam makes Danny a better person, but what it comes across as is Sam is going to nag Danny for everything he does because they are fundamentally different. And then there's Valerie.
You know how I said I didn't really like Fenton? I kinda like him now.
Yeah, well, I I mean, we like him too.
I don't have time to get into everything with Valerie. Honestly, she deserves her own video. But what needs to be understood for this conversation is that Valerie's ship with Danny has a lot more meat to it, pun not intended, and feels so much more organic. We got to see their journey from enemies to reluctant allies to friends to crushes to heartbreak. This ship had so much interesting storytelling to it, and Valerie and Danny actually had good chemistry with each other. So Danny winding up with Sam is an extra kick in the teeth to this conversation when Valerie was right there. Seriously, why do all of my ships fail? Am I just cursed?
Everything I touch dies!
And that, intellectuals, is why I despise Sam Manson. She has some personality traits that annoy me immensely, made worse by her being treated way too favorably by the writers, and she's part of a bad ship that was chosen over a much better one. Now, let me make something clear. Whenever I do one of these "here's why I don't like character X" videos, people tend to assume I'm saying these characters are objectively bad, which is not the case. I didn't call Diane a bad character in her video, I didn't call John Redcorn a bad character in his, and I'm not calling Sam a bad character here. Her character is certainly weaker than it could have been given all the favoritism she gets, but it's not bad. In fact, let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're a young child. Your parents are absurdly rich, but you don't know anything about that because you're a child. As you grow up, you start to learn what it means to be wealthy. People who you thought liked you are only around you because of your money and would disappear if your money ever left you. Shoot, it's possible some people have already started to abandon you for frivolous reasons. You begin having trouble telling what in your life is real and what's just been bought. So you reject that fancy lifestyle and start to search for something else. You don't know exactly where to go, but your best instinct is to gravitate towards unpopular things because at least then you know those things aren't liked by phonies. You embrace the current counterculture, feeling its authenticity will help you become yourself. You find some unpopular kids and befriend them, not telling them about your wealth in hopes that they'll like you for you. Because of your experiences, you get annoyed anytime one of them starts to praise frivolous popular junk. To your surprise, without help from your parents' fortune, you find yourself doing a lot of good with these friends. You're now part of something special, and you don't want to give that up. Maybe you're a bit too far into your own mindset, but being here feels a lot better than where you were. This is my headcanon that justifies Sam's character. I have absolutely no proof that this is why she is the way she is, but it makes sense and it helps present her in a more interesting light. I said all that because I want to make it clear, Sam is more of a character with underdeveloped potential than she is a bad character. And unfortunately, she also happens to have a lot of annoying traits, especially if you're me. But in making this video, I've been doing some contemplating. I've hated Sam longer than I've hated literally any other fictional character, and I think it might be time to finally let go. Not that I don't dislike Sam, I still get annoyed whenever I see her, but when I lay everything on the table, I don't know if I can call her my second most hated character anymore. Can I honestly say she annoys me more than She-Hulk? Or Velma? At least Sam is a good person. At least she's trying to make the world a better place. Plus she's voiced by Grey Griffin, so that's like an automatic it's hard to hate her bonus. Really, I can't help but have a soft spot for Sam. Hating her for so long has laid the foundation of characters I tend to find annoying. She helped me discover insights about myself, even if it was through a negative lens. Sam Manson, I despise you. You're an underdeveloped character with traits that I and many others do not like. But you're not a bad person, you're not a bad character, and there are definitely things out there worth hating more than you. This has been Shady Doorags. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.